It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspectives of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is being brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association and can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on local radio WMOA AM 1490 and ESPN radio WJAW FM 100.9 and AM 630. It's now time for the show. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Another Saturday morning and Energy Insights comes your way each and every Saturday morning here on the radio, brought to you by our good friends at the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. And we're pleased to be joined with Kennedy Copeland. We chased her down at a career fair at Merida College. And so outside of that, Kennedy, maybe for the listeners, just a little bit of your background, who you're with, what your position is. And I'll ask them to embrace the noises in the background because that's all about what we do, right?
Absolutely. So I work external affairs for the Ohio Oil and Gas Energy Education Program, or UGEEP as we like to say for short. And we are the educational arm of the oil and gas industry. We try to bridge the gap in between industry and communities, try to educate people about how important this industry is, not only locally but nationally, and how important our Ohio and our Southeastern Ohio is to the national scale.
How about your background? You know, we're at this career fair, and there's a lot of young people looking around thinking, man, what can I do? Where can I land? And not that you're sitting in, 5 years ago or whatever saying, this is where you're going to end up. But how do you land here?
Yeah, so I never thought that I'd work in the oil and gas industry. I have a background in political science and public relations, and the oil and gas industry never was on my radar. But when I started seeing how much people didn't know about the industry and how once they started to hear how awesome the industry was, their perceptions totally changed, I knew I had to be a part of it. And so coming from a political background, I love a fight. I love telling people that they're wrong about something that they always thought they were right about. Yeah. And people really love this industry, but only when they know about it. So that's why UGEEP is so great. We get to educate every single person on how great this industry is.
All right, Kennedy Copeland is our guest. How about in the setting of a college campus like where we sit right now at Merida College? What are some of the questions that you get from some of the young minds that walk by the booth?
They have so many questions, and they're so excited about this industry, but at the same time, they really wonder what opportunities are for them. So if a lot of them don't want to go to a four-year university, or if they do go to a four-year university, they don't understand how diverse their opportunities are. And the cool thing about this industry is you can have an oil and gas career without being oil and gas specific. I work in public affairs, and that's very different than being a petroleum engineer. But petroleum engineers are now the top paid college major in the country. So it's a great industry to be in. Their questions really based on the side of, well, why is this industry so important? Why are there so many careers in it? And it's because we use 6,000 products every day that come from petroleum.
Yeah, and to that point, talk a little bit. I saw the display over there, and I think it's one of those things that you said at the outset. You like to teach people things they don't know, or tell them things that they might think are wrong, that they might think are right or wrong. So talk a little bit about, number one, things that we're touching every single day that come from this industry, and then maybe something that you can think of recent that somebody thought was the truth that you had to say, back it up.
Yeah. So it's really funny because we've been talking so much in the media about banning this industry. And people think, off the top of their head that means banning cars or banning different things like heating for our homes. They don't think about how the products that we use every single day, women's makeup or our clothes, all synthetic fabrics come from this industry. Our shoes, 50% of even electric cars are made of plastic, which comes from our industry. And not to mention, where does electricity come from? A lot of it comes from natural gas and crude oil and fossil fuels. So when we're talking about banning some of these things, in this whole industry as a whole, we're not only talking about banning, and eliminating 200,000 jobs in Ohio alone, but we're talking about completely ignoring all of these products that we use every day. Not to mention, you can't even make a solar panel or a windmill without oil and gas.
All right. Kennedy Copeland, by the way, is a cool name. Did you always like Kennedy, or does it just start to grow on you as you got older and realized it was a cool name?
It's a cool name. It's a cool name.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time and hope we get an opportunity to talk again. And we appreciate UGEEP and what they do and your position with that as well. And thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on.
All right. Kennedy Copeland. Next week, tune in at the same time. It is the Energy Insights program brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA and ESPN Radio WJAW as Johnny Wolf brings you your local and inside perspectives of the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley.